Hi, and welcome to March 2024 Patreon rewards video. So, quite a few things happened this month that kind of disrupted a lot of the things that I wanted to do, but at the same time, I actually got I actually have something to show this time around this month, uh, as opposed to the last few months. So, one of the things that happened this month is that so it started raining and the lights went out a few times uh, early this month. And when the lights finally came back on, I tried to turn my computer on, my desktop, and it didn't turn on. And I thought it was just a software error. So I spent an entire day and a half trying to get it to work, and it didn't turn on. So I eventually had to take it to the shop, and it turned out that the motherboard got a circuit fried, and I needed a whole brand new motherboard. So I ended up having to kind of almost replace had to replace my computer motherboard, which reset my computer, which I didn't lose anything, but I did lose something. Like, what I mean is, I didn't lose any of my work, but I had to reinstall all my programs, and only now did I realize that the Clip Studio Paint that I'm using doesn't have all the pens that Clip Studio Paint used to come with. Clip Studio Paint is now being really stingy about the, the pens that came with it, and I had a ton, and I don't know what happened to them, and and things like that. Like there's like a lot of stuff that's not as optimized as I want them to be. Um, Also, the editing program that I have, I have like the little banner underneath, the little bug underneath my videos. Well, that's gone. I have to recreate it. So if it is in the bottom of this video, it's because I ended up having to recreate it. But on top of that, the little animation that I used to have at the beginning of my videos, the intro and outros, that's gone. I think I'm gonna need to do something. I have to find it again, which basically means that if I have an intro and outro on these videos, it's because I just basically took it from a different video and I just plugged it in, right? Um, so I have to redo all my computer stuff, and it's really annoying. And on top of the and so it happened on a day that I had off. Like I had like 2 days off work, or no, 3 days off work, and I was planning to like do personal work the whole time, and then my computer got busted, and it ruined everything and ruined my plans. Like I didn't get a chance to do anything because I was fighting the computer. So I did do a little bit of stuff on paper, but dang man, like I got it really messed me up. Okay, so this month I did get a few things done. So let's begin with some of what I did do. I'm sending this over, which is these little pages here. This is something that I did for um, a class. So my wife is teaching a class. She wanted a little bit of an interview with professional animation, whatever it is, you know. So I spoke with the class, and I did a few sketching. I did it via Zoom, so it was virtual, and so I was able to like draw on the screen and talk to the kids virtually. They were asking me questions, and so I just explained about drawing. I explained about the career, all that stuff, you know. So I did that. So this is from that little class thing that I did. Oh, another thing that happened, I forgot. I got a new desk. It was my birthday last month, My parents got me a new. They got me a new desk. The one that I used, that I've been using since I was in elementary school. That was that's actually literally the desk that I've been using all my life, basically. Since elementary school, I've been using the same desk, and uh, and it was falling apart, obviously. Um, and it wasn't working for the new setup that I have, because it used to be that it was all analog. I mean, analog, traditional stuff. Like it was a slanted desk, it was a drafting desk, it was more of an architectural desk, it was definitely a drawing desk. And nowadays it's all digital, and the traditional stuff is a little bit easier to do. So it's now, and on top of that, I'm standing all the time. I draw standing, I work standing. So my parents got me a computer standing desk. So now it elevates, it comes up and down. So like my whole setup is different. So as you can see, the lighting is different on my video, because the way that it's all set up, like it's not quite what it used to be. But on the other hand, it's easier to shoot traditional drawing videos on it. The postcard video that I did was on the new desk, and the setup was so much easier this time around. So that's cool. Um, I have and everything is working, like, and I have like an arm now for my Cintiq. Um, it's different. Like everything, my setup is a lot different now. It's not a lot different. It's just a different desk, which means that the layout of my desk is a lot different, and I'm getting used to it now. There's a lot of benefits to it being flat as opposed to slanted. Like a lot of the problems that I was having with my desk is that it was slanted, and I still had all my computer monitors and stuff on a slanted desk. It was just a mess. It was a mess, and it was really low. And now I could raise it up. It's much easier now. So that's cool. Okay, so let's get back to the art. Okay, so this is a drawing that I did, and I did a few of these. So I'm gonna go over and talk about this. So, Memento Mori. Memento Mori means remember death. So, um, back in the Roman times, um, uh, there was I forgot what the name of the movement was. Uh, the pragmatists. I forgot what they're called. Anyway, Cicero. He was the guy. He's one of the guys. Um, uh, but in general, the Memento Mori was about remember death. Like when the Caesars would be triumphant and they would have this big parade, they hired some dude in the background that would, behind the Caesar, would say Memento Mori, Memento Mori, Memento Mori, which meant remember death. And if you watch History of the World, Mel Brooks' History of the World, there's that one goofy guy that says, "Remember, you thou art mortal. Remember, thou art mortal." That's the Memento Mori guy, right? Um, so so the idea being that remember, thou art mortal. You're gonna die. Like all this special stuff doesn't mean anything, right? You're gonna eventually die. Everything is fleeting. Memento Mori is also Catholics basically adopted that, to also for similar reasons, for the same reason. Remember thou art mortal, right? Remember your death, and that was meant to show to be like, okay, therefore you ought to live your life for Christ. That was the point. The point was remember your death, so that you could live according to Christ's words, because you're going to get judged at the end of your life, right? And then, but it also means another thing. It also means remember that you have died in Christ, that you are no longer living. You are no longer the fall. You have been raised with Christ. That's the other thing. You have been saved with Christ. So you've died to the world, and you've been reborn in Christ. So remember, Memento Mori was remember your spiritual death and your spiritual rebirth. Um, so there's that. So I always thought, and once I saw that, I learned about it. I was like, that's so cool. Like I like that. Like I like it's just so it's a hope. It's a weird thing because it's got that the death, um, but it's hope. There's hope in it. And so um, and of course it's as the time of this recording, it's Lent. And Lent is all about beginning with Ash Wednesday, where it's like from ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Memento Mori. That's the Memento Mori day, right? And so I was just thinking about that, and then you have like the Day of the Dead, where you the All Souls Day, I should say, All Souls Day. It's called the Day of the Dead when you translate it from Spanish, because in Spanish is Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, but in English that same exact day is called All Souls Day. So when you translate it from Spanish, it's Day of the Dead, but when you translate it as the name given to that day, November 2nd, that day is All Souls Day. Remember the souls that have passed, and remember that you will be one of them souls, one of those souls someday. And so it's them. That's also the Memento Mori Day. Um, there's a lot of like these Memento Mori things going on, and I wanted to make an image of Memento Mori. I wanted a Memento Mori image, also because there's like this kind of a pirate idea. I also have the Black Terror Kid with the little skull and crossbones, and he inadvertently, accidentally is he's little Memento Mori. He's a little Memento Mori guy. He's got a little Memento Mori symbol on his chest. And if you look at there's some crucifixes, especially some Byzantine crucifixes. You have the crucifix, and then there's like a little tiny skull and crossbones on the bottom of the cross, at the foot of the cross, and that's meant to be the place of the skull where the crucifixion happened. That's the name of the place, was the place of the skull, and the crucifixion happened on top of that, and that skull is meant to represent Adam. Adam is the first man who died, and so the place of the skull is Adam's skull, which is also the symbol of death, the death of man. So all of these things, like they all come together, and so I wanted to make a symbol. I wanted to just draw that. I wanted to get in there. And so these first few drawings that I did, this was the very first idea that I had. I wanted, like, oh look, it's the skull. You're looking up at the skull, and then I wanted to put the cross, which is where the place of the skull, the cross on the top. Boom. And so that's why you have the cross crushed going through the skull down, and it didn't work. I didn't like it. It didn't work. So I'm like, okay, what if I just do a regular old skull and crossbones? And I'm like, and what are these bones anyway? And I think it's just like the femurs, like for the upper legs. And I'm like, okay, but my skulls are kind of lame. So I actually went and I looked up Mike Mignola skulls, because Mike Mignola, Hellboy guy, he does a lot of really creepy, monstery black and white stuff, and he's got a really cool design aesthetic. And so and he draws a lot of skulls and all this other stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to steal his skulls. And so that's what I did. So this bottom one is my attempt at a Mike Mignola type skull. and I liked it way more. I'm like, oh, that's cool. The only thing is that I wanted to make it like a sticker or a button or something like it looked like a little symbol that you can just put a sticker on it. You could use as a sticker, and and so this is what I came up with, and then I still wanted the cross. So here, because the idea here was memento, the T would be the cross, Mori, and it kind of it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. So I just had Memento Mori here, and then I had these things. But the only problem with here is I didn't like the little tiny little bones coming out here. I didn't think that worked. And but I like the circle, and I like the Memento Mori here. So this is, and then I turn my page. I don't know if, oh, here it is. So here's the on the sketchbook. I just drew this giant circle freehand, and then I drew the skull, and then I did the traditional skull and crossbones here, and I added like a little banner, and then I did a little bit of a calligraphy here, which is, I'm really bad at it. It's not very cool. But here's the thing, like I'm like, oh well, it's a little off center. It's not quite perfect. My letters are kind of crappy. I put the cross in here because again the cross is on top of the skull, sorta, but it's also kind of like the ashes on the forehead idea. And then, but but all this imperfection, and I said, you know what? Okay, that's good. I like the imperfection. I could have digitally fixed all of it, and I decided not to because it looked like a person drew it. It looked like it wasn't machine made, you know. Um, it suddenly become important not to be perfect when you're drawing these things because you have this now with the AI thing. There's the kind of like the ability. Not that AI is perfect and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do everything right. But there isn't that spontaneous. I'm a human being. I'm not doing everything absolutely perfect, but this is exactly what I intend. This is my intention idea. So I thought, okay, it's fine. I'll just I'll leave the imperfections. Um, and so this is the final. This is after I put it in scanned it in, cleaned it up, not cleaned it up, but just like cropped it in, and this is the Memento Mori little drawing that I did, and it was fun. I liked it. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's been a while since I really wanted to draw. I wanted to make sure that you saw the brush strokes and everything. Like I wanted this to just feel like somebody drew it, and so here it is. So that's the story behind this Memento Mori symbol, and this is what it means. And I'm thinking about doing more, and we'll see what happens. But that's now you know. And speaking of Memento Mori, here's the this month's postcard. So yeah, so here's here like the lights. Here I have a light right here, like you could see it reflected on behind me here. Boom. So just and then this other light is just blowing this drawing out. But here it is. Here's Conan once again. Conan, I'm talking about the character on the margins, that I did last time. So we're and just continuing with the notion. And he's kind of a bit of a Memento Mori type of guy too, right? Like he's just like at the edge of the world, fighting the monsters from coming in to eat us, right? That's the protector of the monsters, the monster that fights the monsters, right? That's the idea behind the people on the edge, right? The outliers, the marginalized are often the monsters that fight the monsters. They protect the center from from the crazy. And that's one of the reasons why there is an element of hospitality that must always be brought to people coming into a new place, while at the same time trying to preserve the place. So you never actually put, like, for example, the gargoyle on the altar, or else it would destroy the altar. But if the outsider assimilates to the interior, if they become like Superman, the stranger assimilates and becomes part of the center, then they are more capable of protecting the center and keeping it safe and keeping the peace, and not trying to overwhelm it or change it or destroy it. So that's to me, you know, what Conan is. He's kind of like the guy who's at the edge, that's trying to prevent the chaos from destroying the center, even when he himself has a touch of chaos in him. So it's this was done in all in ink, and again, I'm just trying to not put too much outlines on here. You could see that there's some lines there, but I was trying to keep it not have a lot of outlines. It's all just lights and darks, and I'm having fun with drawing this really buff, masculine dude. I really like it. So the winner of this postcard is Il Medici. Il Medici, you won this month's postcard. I like your name, Il Medici. Medici family had a bit of a chaotic history, you can say. There was so much good that they did, and so much not so good. But Il Medici, you won the postcard. All right, so that's it for this month's postcard. I mean, Patreon rewards. I'm glad that I actually had a little bit more to share this time around, that I actually did some drawings. Oh, and then there's one thing. Next month, I'm going to be sharing at least one, if not more, little like a sticker. So one of the things that I did this month, something I've been wanting to do for months, was to go down to the local office supply store and pick myself up a badges, like those sticker badges, like hello, my name is blah, and I wanted to pick up some blank ones so that I could draw on them and make stickers, like hand-drawn stickers. I may or may not, instead of a postcard, give away a sticker. But anyway, I've been working on some. I'll see if I can share some next month. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. All right, bye. So I'm happy to announce that I now have a new drawing lesson called Drafu Guide to Sketching and Gesture Foundations. It's the beginning of the level 2 information that people have been asking me for the drawing website, which will teach you where to start drawing, what to draw when you draw, how to draw from observation, how to draw from imagination, how to draw what you envision, and how to discover what you ought to envision if you don't have anything specific in mind. So if you find any of this interesting, you could follow the link that you see, or you can go to thedrawingwebsite.com, look under level 2, and you'll find a link there.